going to be looking at what I call static licks. They're repetitive ideas for soloing. They kind of fit into our program here this month of working on ideas in the pocket or playing relative to time. What they are, they're repeating ideas. Most of the time when I do this sort of thing, it's not just like a group of 3 notes against the beat like triplets, but there'll be groups of 3 notes over like 16th notes, so it'll kind of float over the time. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's kind of how these tend to work out the way that I like to use them. The examples are going to be from a couple songs from my album that I did with the band Felt in 2002. One of the ideas is going to be a major lick, and one of them is going to be minor, and then I might have something that's a little bit more pedal steel if we have time today. The first lick here is from the song Empty Town, and it's in the key of E major. The notes that we're going to be using are going to be E, F sharp, G sharp, and A on the first string, and then B on the second string. What's going to happen is that we're going to pull off the top part of the phrase, or groups of 3, and the second and third group of each grouping is going to be the E and the B here. So we're going to pull off the G sharp on the first string to the E on the first string, and then play the B, and then the F sharp to the E to the B, the A, it's a little bit of a reach, pull off, E to B, and then we're back to the G sharp, E, B, and then you have to, because we want this to fit in one measure, and we're doing groups of 3, it won't accommodate one more grouping of 3, so we play the B twice there. So we got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, that's the whole lick. So if I do it with the metronome, 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E, 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a... That's actually the lick in time with the click. Alright, and you hear that the group of 3 floats over the beat. Otherwise we'd be going 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Which is another idea, it works, but it's not what we're doing. I like the fact that the group of 3 kind of gets displaced or floats over the beat. Going to take the note that makes it major or minor, which is the 3rd in the scale, and lower it a fret. And that's pretty much how the easiest way to kind of get it to conform to the minor key or the minor chord you'd be playing over. The way I play it in the song Onion Girl off that album, 1 and a 2. It's a little bit different time-wise. Not that hard to do. There's one, that little bit right there with the hammer and pull, which is a little tricky. But it's all about getting this stuff in time and making sure that you can feel where the quarter note beat is. All right, the next one is actually from another tune on that album. I'm just mining this one album today, called Over Pennsylvania. And this is the introduction. Look, it goes over the introduction and the chorus. I always liked fake pedal steel kind of stuff on guitar. And I'd come up with this lick, and it just seemed like a really cool way to create motion over a pretty boring chord progression. All right, so what happens is we've got this D here. It's in the key of G, and we're in kind of like that position where you play like your B.B. King licks, right? So the root here is the 8th fret on the 2nd string, which is the G. We're going to have our 3rd finger on the A or the 10th fret on that string, and then we're going to keep our pinky, our little finger, on the D on the 1st string, 10th fret. And what happens is the very first thing we do is we bend, and this all has to be in time, we bend from the A to the B, and then we play the D. All right, so that's 1, E, and it's kind of a pain to get in tune. All right, so we'll see. I may need to practice this a little bit more if I have to play the song again. But 1 and 2, E. Right. So right there we have bends that are specifically in time, 16th note wise. 1 E, 2 E, and that one's a pull off. And that one's a hammer on. And I've got it written on the notation as having 2 notes at the end, just like the other ones, because it's another one of these groups of 3. As I'm thinking about it, it may just work as. Or I think I may do that bend in time there like that with the 16th notes. Anyway, this one, I like using this idea a lot. I'll do it in G there. In the key of G, I could also move it up here to the 15th fret and do the same idea. But then because of what key I'm in, this is the 5th, 4th, and 3rd of the chord. So I can actually make a more melody happen there. And then the note that is repeating, or the pedal point in this, is actually the G. So that really reinforces that. I can do it in other keys. You know, I use those licks a lot. These are ideas. They're great. They're not the only way to do this sort of thing. You can do them with open strings. You could do it, like Tom Petty song, like at the end of American Girl. Oh, he's taking the repeating idea and he's moving it with the chords, whereas my idea is generally sit in one place and let the chords move around them. It's just one more way to kind of shape a line or to create interest in a solo. It's also one more way for you guys to think about playing in time, which to me is probably the most important of all of this.